Hello there all my lovely jewelry makers. So today it's time to open up another Dollar Bead box. So I said let's just get into it instead of faffing about too much. Like always, get scissors ready. Just break through the tape. So I haven't had a sneak peek. Right, get this up and then I'm going to just have a look at the bag first of all, like usual. So let's just get it out here. And it was actually flipped around, so I've not even seen the beads yet. But taking out the little note, basically telling you the content. And then, ooh, this is looking interesting already. And a little familiar. So let's see. Again, I'm just going to separate out the sizes. So we have 4mm and 3mm ones. So I'm just going to look at them, actually just flop these over. So do the small ones first. And then just going to have a little bit of a closer look. Now I'll be honest, my first impressions having all the beads laying like this, so all the colours together, I think they all look really good together. There's just something about them. Because these greens are kind of quite unusual greens. They just seem to go really well together. It's kind of like, not summery, even though there's greens and pinks and blues. Normally you would kind of associate that with summer. But it's more like a late summer, autumnal feel, I guess, because of the tones of the colours. So, and obviously you can separate other ones out. Maybe it becomes a bit more wintry or romantic. But first impressions, quite interesting. That's definitely, I will say. Those greens are definitely very unusual greens. But anyway, let's just get started looking at the individual ones. So, first of all, starting from the top, we have Matte Dark Cyan. So, that's got to be these ones. So it was in the last box we had these, but they were in 4mm, and I used them for a bracelet that I made. And in the previous box as well as these here, I really like this color. It's just very bright, but then because they're matte, they kind of tones them down a bit, but they're still quite bright, but it's different because they're matte. But it's a very beautiful color. It's definitely my kind of color, this. Can never go wrong with this, I think. And it goes with so many other things. And metal-wise, wire-wise, both copper and silver will work so well with it. But anyway, next we have Crystal Pink Luster AB. So that's got to be Crystal Pink. You'd think of these, and then the AB coating as well. So Crystal Pink, so it's a pink color, but they're not completely opaque. So you can kind of see through them at the same time, but it's got a pink tint to it. And obviously, they're kind of partly AB coated and just adds that lovely sparkle on top of being faceted as well. So these are very, kind of like I said before, if you combine these with a couple of the other specific ones, they can be quite romantic and summery, but then also be quite maybe fall, like if you combine them with something else. But that's what I like about kind of getting them like this as well. So those were the Crystal Pink ones, getting the paper flying around it. Then we have Crystal Purple Luster. So it's got to be these ones next. So basically the same principle. So it's a purple, but it's not completely opaque, which is always a nice effect that gives. And then it's got a luster to it. So it's not the same way then has AB coating, so that rainbow coating, like these do. But it's more just like a luster, which still gives sparkle, but it's a little bit more subtle. Very nice as well. And then the last ones are the 3mm are Crystal Honey AB, so obviously it's got to be these ones. They're definitely a very honey colour. And again, that crystal, so not completely opaque. And they then have the AB coating. So just sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. So those are the 3mm ones. The 4mm ones down here. First of all, we have Crystal Olive Luster. Now, just got to make sure I get these ones right, because there's... I'm thinking it must be these. Crystal Olive Luster. So, that green is an olive green, so obviously that kind of makes it a little bit different. And it's the crystal again, so not completely opaque. And it has then that luster, so it's not AB coating, but it just adds that lovely shine and sparkle. Next we have Matte Olive, so it's got to be this strand here because that's the matte one. So basically the same colour, if I just put them next to each other. But because they have different finishes, they do end up looking very different, which is interesting as well. And that's just matte. I do like matte beads. They can be very nice and different instead of always having shiny ones and sparkly ones. Then we have metallic magenta. Now this is another one that's a bit familiar, because also in the previous box we had these as well, but in 3mm, so kind of opposite to the cyan ones. And again, they were also my favorites. They're just metallic and metallic purple and metallic blue and things like that. You can never go wrong with me. So I really like the ones in the previous box, and of course these are the same ones, just a different size, which is brilliant as well. You can then combine them and mix them together if you need to in different designs. So love them. And very sparkly as well. And lastly we have vintage rose gold luster. So they are very unusual because kind of hard to describe, but the vintage, I would definitely say you get kind of a vintage feel from them. And then a rosy tint as well, yes, and obviously the luster is a gold luster instead of a silver luster like some of the other ones. And definitely a good description. And again, they can be either romantic or they can be fall or whatever, so very nice. So that was then what was in the bag. So I'm just gonna pack them back away so I don't lose any of them. But definitely a nice mix again. I always enjoy seeing the kind of mix because things don't have to be used together here. But at the same time, you quite often get a mix of colours that you maybe wouldn't normally put together, but you find out actually it does work quite well after all, and you could quite easily use it together. So let's then bring the box back in and go through that, see what's in here this time. So again, we have a little paper, which gives you some description and also a list of all the contents. So always keep that handy. Get the tissue out here, put the box away just to get it out of the way. And then I'm just gonna, like usual, without trying to look too much, let me just bring all of it out so we can get the tissue away. A bit noisy. And then I'm just, because also on the paper, they're separated into, organized into the additional items and the strands. So that's also how I like to go through them. So let's see here. All the additional items out of the way, and I'll do them last, and I'll do the strands first. So I'm just gonna lay them out here. Right. And then let's go through and see what we have. Get the paperwork in place as well. So let's just start from the top. We start out with some 4mm check glass Druck light topaz, and there's 50 pieces. So light topaz, I'm guessing should be these ones here, and 4mm as well. Seems the right size. So definitely that topaz feel, but the light kind of version of it, so good description. And perfectly round beads, always handy. And to be fair, because the kind of the light topaz, they will go with a lot of different other colours. Then next we have 4mm checker glass Druck acid washed crystal blue zircon, and you're supposed to get about 25. So I'm guessing, I'm not too familiar with the description of the colour, but I'm guessing through the process of elimination it's got to be these ones here. Also with the size, again 4mm ones. Now they are very interesting. I love that colour combination. See if I can maybe get them a little bit closer for you. So just a mix of kind of reddish, pinkish purples and orange and yellows mixed together. That's very nice. Very different. So they would definitely stand out quite a lot, I think, with whatever you use them for. And 4mm is a nice size. Then next we have 6mm, so slightly larger, check glass pearl, and it's mystic purple, so it's got to be these ones. About 20 purple. Can never go wrong with that. It's a nice purple as well, very opaque. And to be honest, all these colours actually go quite nice together. But these purple will go with any of the other ones really. So they're quite nice, nice purple there. Then we're back to 4mm, checker glass pearls, matte satin white, so it's got to be these ones. So we get that pearl finish. Always nice, again we'll go with anything. And especially with the purple, and instantly, I've not gone through them yet, but these three, they look really nice together, very romantic. They're nice together. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Then we have 8mm checker glass fire polish, jet mustard brown. And that must be these here, also with the size. So kind of the jet, so a black base colour, and then you have a mustard brown, kind of like waved through almost. So it's not covering all the way, but it's kind of got random pattern. Maybe get it a little bit closer. You can kind of see there, it's in a way very subtle, but it just gives something different and very sparkly because of the faceting. Nice size as well, 8mm. Then we have 1x2mm, so tiny beads, Chinese crystal rondelles, jet. So that's these ones here, pretty nice long strand. Now in the last box we also got one of these, but they were white, I think, or crystal. And I used them for a beaded bracelet that I did, so they are really nice. And even though they're so small, they're faceted, they add a lot of sparkle and a lot of interest because of the sparkle, which it's kind of hard to believe because they're so small, but they do. And lastly, we have 6x9mm checker glass gem cut rondelles. So that's obviously the ones I was already looking at. Fuchsia with alabaster white or sapphire with alabaster white. So I'm guessing it's the fuchsia one. That is really nice. There's something about them, I do really like them. And like I said, I know I've got to just get them out again. These three just go really well together, I think. They just have a very romantic feel. Here we go. Get it to focus. And they're not just opaque pink or anything. They kind of have veins running through them almost. So that adds some interest. And there's some sparkle as well because they're faceted. So they are nice. And I really like those three together, if you hadn't noticed. Anyway, those are the strands. Get them out of the way and then we can move to the additional items. So again, I'm just going to start from the top and try and identify them one by one. So first off, we have 7x16mm checker glass 2-hole crescents, hematite finish, 6 pieces. So that's got to be these ones. You got that hematite finish. I love hematite. It's probably my favorite gemstone. And then obviously these are glass beads, but they're definitely very hematite looking. They could definitely go for hematite. So you have the crescent shape is obviously kind of looking from the side here. And then, so they're kind of flat, but then it's a curve, but you got 2 holes going through. So a lot of interesting things could be done with that. That's for sure. Instead of just having maybe 1 hole in the middle. Definitely opens up for a lot of other things. So that was the first ones. And then we have 9mm checker glass squiggle cut. Right, we'll see what that means. Opaque green with travertine. So 2 pieces. Could it be these ones? So I'm thinking it's got to be these ones here. I don't really see what else it would be. So let's just get them out, hoping it's correct. So we have, the 9mm, which is unusual, but they're not round, so they're obviously kind of a different shape. I'm not sure if it's kind of a specific shape or if it's just a bit randomly cut or shaped here. I think they might actually be somewhat the same. So there's 2 pieces. The squiggle cut probably describes it. So a nice green, and you have a hole going through there. You can see it catching it there. So definitely very unusual. And you have a bit of an effect, so it's not just green, but you got that travertine effect on it. Very different. Then next we have 10mm Chinese glass laser etched round Buddha. So it's 2 pieces. I'm guessing that means I've seen this kind of laser edge ones in previous boxes as well, with kind of different patterns and shapes of the beads. I'm guessing it's got to be these ones because they look like they have kind of a Buddha shaped kind of laser etched into it. That's different. I like that where it's the base color of the bead is white, and then you got that kind of coating, as you guess you could say, or laser etching in the pattern that you want, but in a metallic with a kind of rainbow effect. So that's unusual. It's definitely unusual with the Buddha kind of theme, I guess you could say, to it. Next we have 5mm, again kind of unusual size, and in between ones 9 and 5 they're a bit more unusual. Checker glass hexagon, full coat silver, 8 pieces. So I wonder actually if these are them. So they're not kind of typical beads, they are still beads you could say because they have a hole in them, but I would more probably call them spacers, something like this. Let's just get another one out. They are glass, so obviously they are beads, but these come across a bit more like spacers. Very kind of flat there. You got the hexagon shape, and then a hole in the middle, quite large holes as well, so it could be used for a lot of different things. You get 8 of them, I think it said, yep. Then we have Baroque Pearl. Now I did just catch a glimpse of this, so that's got to be this one. A natural peacock finish, so that's where it's basically multicolored, a bit like a rainbow again. Quite large by the looks of it. Baroque Pearl is where it's basically naturally formed. So you can kind of see on this one here, it's got the round part, like a normal round pearl, and then it's like it's kind of kept growing from a point from there, and just kind of grew out to add to the roundness. So that's a bit unusual. Let's see, regarding a hole, could it be from there maybe? Yeah, I think the hole, I think I just caught it a little bit, goes from that very tip, and then it must come out. Oh, it comes there. The other end, so kind of goes through the long way. That's definitely an unusual shape. Almost like part round and part Baroque. Then next we have Beadalon Instant Pendant with 6mm round screw. Silver. That's got to be this one then. You get one, yeah, so other way. I did also just kind of briefly see this and I was like, what is this? It almost like a big head pin, or ball with a head pin. Well, head pin with a ball rather. And quite chunky, but that's definitely unusual. I just wonder, kind of was thinking, since it said screw, whether you could actually screw it out, so get that ball part off. Oh, actually, I was thinking because it wasn't really reacting. No, you can't. But I think you just had to loosen it up. Seems like you can, which makes sense. Screw. Because that's what I think. Otherwise, how can you use it if you want anything on here? Because then you can obviously unscrew that part, put beads or put something on there. These would definitely fit because it is quite thick. I'm sure some of the other stuff will fit as well. But get some beads on there, kind of a decoration. You screw this back on and fasten it. And then I guess that's then where you have basically a pendant part if you want to use it for that. Let me just bring that up a bit. So it does unscrew. I was a bit unsure because I felt like nothing was happening, but That was quite tight, so, which is a good thing. You don't always want it coming loose. So that's unusual. I've not seen that before, to be honest. Then next on the list we have check glass dog. So I'm guessing dog beads, 12 by 20 millimeter, jet with white wash, 2 pieces. So that looks like it's similar to something I've seen in previous boxes, but then just a different shape. Previously they've got elephant beads in a similar kind of thing, and forget, what was it last? There was something else, another animal I think, but I really liked all of them. They were really cute. Now this is very unusual. So basically a dog head. Let me just see where hole would be. Oh, right, okay. That's why I couldn't really seem to find it. I was thinking, does it go from the top of the head to maybe the base down here on the neck? But it doesn't. Actually goes right from where the nose is and then through down to the opposite corner. So it comes right through like that. That's not what I was expecting. But anyway, and the double-sided as well, so you don't have to worry about what way is flipping, front or back or anything. So pretty cute. I do like that effect where they have a base kind of bead color and then they do a wash. Other times it's been, I think it was a silver wash was one of them, and I think there might have been a gold wash on one. So I do like that effect because they are shaped, but that effect with the washer, which just really emphasizes the shape of the bead and obviously what it's supposed to be. So they're definitely unusual. Dog heads. It's funny, is I really want a dog. We wanted a dog for so long, but we can't, unfortunately, where we live right now. We have our 2 cats, but I would love a dog. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Next we have 4mm check glass saucer, and it's amethyst. So 24 pieces, so you get a few of them. So that means it's got to be these. Nice amethyst colour. So saucers, so it's a little bit different. I'm thinking there must be a little bit bicone shaped like, but obviously not completely. Let's see. Try and bring them up. So they kind of have that, I guess, more saucer shape, because they don't have the sides and the kind of faceting, what you want to call it, like bicones would. So I guess that makes them more saucer shaped. Seems like a pretty okay size hole. And nice purple, always can never go wrong with that, for my sake anyway. And then next we have star cut Chinese crystal green vitriol, 10 pieces. That's gotta be these ones, 4 by 5mm. So again, I've had similar things to these in previous boxes, but there've been other colours. There've been black ones and some silver ones, I think, where again it's kind of a mix of different typical shapes, but they're then different. So this is almost a bit like again a mix of bicone and a saucer or regular shape almost, but then it's kind of cut off in certain places, which then makes it different. And you have, let's see if I can get it to lay. There we go, maybe. That's kind of the bead from above, but then on those flat sides is where the hole comes through. So almost like from side to side. And this is a nice coating, very sparkly because you've got that metallic finish. Always like metallic finishes. Get them back in so they don't run away. And then getting towards the end, we have check glass Hawaiian flower, opaque green, 40mm, so pretty large. You get one, so one flower here, it's got to be this one. And it's opaque green, and then again you can kind of see it's got a wash over it, a gold one in this case, that just emphasizes the kind of veins, you could call it, in the flower, and just makes it stand out more. And on the side as well, so there you go, there's the hole. So from one side to the other, and it's 5 petals. So cute. So Hawaiian check glass flower. And lastly, check glass 2-hole laser etched tabular coin. That's a mouthful. And the colour, metallic purple luster with white. That's quite a mouthful. 12mm 2 pieces. Obviously these ones, last bag left. And I will say first impressions, I kind of like the look of these. Ooh, ooh, they feel nice. Right, okay. So they're actually kind of different from each other, not 100% the same. So they have also been laser etched like the other ones that have that effect to them. They have a nice metallic purple base, always a plus for me, which you can see on the back even more because they're kind of one-sided. So this is also more flat, whereas this side with the effect on is a bit more domed. So you could kind of use them as, I guess you could always use them as cabochons if you wanted to, but this side with the purple lay is more flat. So you could take that into account. But I really quite like them, especially that base purple metallic colour. So we have, oh yeah, they're 2 holes. I was thinking that looks like 2 holes. I read it out, didn't I? There we go, 2 holes. So again, that makes for some interesting things you could do. My first thoughts already are going to, let's see if I can just get it. Now they might not match up. No, I don't think they will, but in principle, if they did, I think the first ones we looked at, they also had 2 holes. Kind of the shape of them. And since these also have 2 holes, kind of framing or cupping them like that a bit. But I do think the distance between the holes are a bit bigger on the hematite crescent ones. But anyway, just kind of a thought that came to me. But they, I can't really describe it, but the feel, and obviously you don't know until you feel them yourself, but the feel of these ones, they feel really nice. I just kind of want to sit and touch them and, I don't know, have them in my hand. They feel very tactile. Just you want to kind of just touch them. But they're really nice. I like them. And 2 holes, you don't have to use both holes, I guess. But obviously they're there, so you can. So I'm definitely curious about maybe trying to see if I can do anything with them. Like the colour, of course. So this is everything that was in the box and the bag. So quite a nice mix here. I will say, overall, a lot of the things go really nicely together. So both a lot of the strands, both from the bag, but also the box itself, and also some of these additional items as well. So I always think that's a nice added bonus. So you can really mix and match. You don't have to separate too many things out if you don't want to. So now it's just a matter of taking some time out here, playing around with some of the materials and seeing what I could come up with. So if you want to see what that's going to end up being, then make sure you stay tuned. So now I'm back and I just want to show you the pieces that I made with some of the materials from the box and the bag. Now first I picked out 2 strands from the bag that I thought went really nice together. So this green, olive green colour, and then this kind of goldeny topaz like colour. And I just thought they went really well together, and they also have very much the same finish. So what I ended up doing was making a pair of earrings. This is something I kind of been wanting to do anyway, because a little while ago I made my beaded coils bracelet and ring, and I kind of thought I wanted to also try and make some other pieces with that technique. So I made a pair of earrings. Just got the dangle here. So they dangle nicely. I've done it so they get a teardrop shape, and you have the coils and the beads there from the front and the back. It looks like that. So obviously you can kind of make them whatever size you want. This is just what I ended up with, and I really quite like how they ended up, and I really like how these 2 beads go together with the silver wire as well. So those are the first pieces I made, a pair of earrings. Next I used these strands here. So these were from the box. I also used another strand, but I used every single bead for the other pieces I made after this as well, so not just for this one. So obviously I can't just show you them here, but I used these rondelle beads in this really lovely pink colour, very delicate, and then the purple ones as well. I thought they went really well together, and alongside the white small rounds as well, What I ended up making was a kumihimo bracelet. Now it's a little bit different because I first of all made a kumihimo braid, just straight out a kumihimo braid, quite long, and then I ended up using that and basically sewed afterwards the beads into the shapes that I wanted, and kind of used the braid as, I guess, a cord, you could say. Almost a bit like a soutache cord would work, but obviously just a kumihimo braid instead. And then you can see the little white beads that I used there as well. So I kind of made this little mix between flowers and butterflies, I guess you could call them, all kind of framed in by the kumihimo braid, and I just ended up making a button and loop closure there. So I did really like how these beads, all the colours there, worked really well together, and I thought that grey or silver tone in the cord kind of framed them in all nicely. And finally, I used these strands here along with the rest of those white beads that I used in the kumihimo bracelet. So like I mentioned, I used that whole strand up because I thought also they worked really well together. And what I did was actually make some macrame, because this is a technique that I've not done in a long time, so I kind of fancied trying it, and I thought these beads also worked perfectly for it. So I made these spiral earrings. So obviously I made 2 of them, where you add the beads along making the macrame here, and it's then adding the different size beads. You can see the black ones, the smallest ones, are the very inner ones, and the next ones out are the blue ones, so that's the middle size, and the larger ones are the white ones, so they're the very outer ones. And by doing that, it creates this kind of spiral effect, and then you can obviously keep making them longer and make them shorter. And I quite liked how they ended up. I really liked how those beads work together, so you have those whites on the outer edge. It just adds a little bit of something to them. So I've not made this technique in a long time, and I really kind of fancied doing that again, and these beads work perfectly for it. So just quite fun, I think, and obviously works perfectly for earrings, so that's what I thought I would make with them. So these are the pieces I made this time around. A bit of a mix of different mediums here, wire work obviously, and you got some kumihimo and also some macrame, so a bit of everything almost. And it just shows that you can really use materials in these boxes for a lot of different mediums. It doesn't have to be just one or the other, or just mainly beading. It can really be used for many different things. But I hope you enjoyed this video here, and also you liked the pieces. Now I have lots of other videos where I unbox these dollar bead boxes and bags as well. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to have a playlist with them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.